In a groundbreaking development that has sent ripples through the global defense community, the United States Navy has unveiled its latest technological marvel, the 7th-Generation fighter jet, now operational aboard its aircraft carriers. This next-generation aircraft, a product of years of clandestine research and development, represents a quantum leap in aerial combat capabilities. Unlike its predecessors, this fighter jet boasts unparalleled stealth features, advanced AI-driven systems, and the ability to seamlessly integrate with both manned and unmanned platforms. Its deployment marks a significant milestone in the U.S. military's ongoing efforts to maintain air superiority in an increasingly contested global landscape. The jet's design emphasizes modularity, allowing for rapid upgrades and adaptability to various mission profiles, from air-to-air combat to electronic warfare. Its propulsion system enables sustained supersonic speeds without afterburners, reducing thermal signatures and enhancing fuel efficiency. The incorporation of cutting-edge materials and avionics ensures resilience against emerging threats, including advanced missile systems and cyber attacks. This strategic advancement not only reinforces the United States' commitment to maintaining a formidable naval presence, but also serves as a deterrent to potential adversaries contemplating challenges to international norms and maritime freedom. As tensions escalate in various regions, the introduction of this 7th-Generation fighter jet underscores the importance of technological innovation in safeguarding national interests and promoting global stability. The Navy's decision to integrate this aircraft into its carrier strike groups reflects a broader strategy to project power and respond swiftly to crises worldwide. With its unmatched capabilities, the 7th-Generation fighter jet is poised to redefine the future of aerial warfare and solidify the United States' position at the forefront of military aviation. The presence of the 7th-Generation fighter jet aboard a U.S. aircraft carrier has not only electrified the naval aviation world, but also sent a clear, unspoken message to any nation considering a challenge to American dominance at sea or in the skies. Known in confidential Pentagon circles as the Phantom Talon, this aircraft reportedly integrates the most secretive defense technologies ever put into an operational jet, including adaptive camouflage that makes it nearly invisible to radar and infrared, a neural flight control system that syncs with the pilot's cognitive inputs, and quantum-encrypted communication channels that are virtually unhackable. Engineers describe its ability to adapt mid-flight, learning enemy patterns using onboard AI, and rerouting mission strategy in real time based on battlefield variables. Unlike the F-35, which was revolutionary in its own right, the Phantom Talon requires only minimal pilot input during complex combat maneuvers, with the AI managing thrust vectoring, target prioritization, and environmental awareness at speeds exceeding Mach 3.6. Its weaponry, too, is decades ahead of current platforms, boasting direct energy laser systems for precision takedowns of drones and missiles, hypersonic railgun pods for long-range destruction of moving maritime targets, and an anti-satellite payload designed to neutralize space-based threats without causing orbital debris. Carried aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, the fighter can launch using a newly engineered electromagnetic catapult system built to match the jet's extreme G-force thresholds. Every takeoff is a ballet of raw physics and technological coordination, with the aircraft going from idle to skybound at speeds so intense, even traditional radar tracking has difficulty maintaining lock. With China's growing military presence in the South China Sea and Russia's aggressive maneuvers near NATO borders, the Phantom Talon is being quietly deployed as a silent observer and an immediate responder, capable of defending American interests from above while maintaining total spectral silence. The jet's onboard AI not only links with nearby drones and satellites, but can instantly access threat libraries from NSA and CIA servers, choosing an optimal tactical response in under 300 milliseconds. Military analysts believe this capability alone sets the 7th-Generation fighter apart, as no other aircraft today can match that level of autonomous threat evaluation and execution. During recent carrier trials in the Pacific, the fighter demonstrated unheard-of stealth performance, fly within 20 nautical miles of enemy radar stations without detection. Combat simulations showed it could destroy 15 adversarial targets, return a carrier, refuel, reload, and relaunch, all within 40 minutes. Naval aviation experts call it a ghost in the sky, saying it's so advanced, pilots training on 5th-gen jets need entirely new combat doctrines to even understand how to operate alongside it. Its advanced hull coating is made of nanocarbon mesh capable of dispersing electromagnetic pulses, and it uses atmospheric particles for real-time camouflage adjustment, allowing it to blend not only visually but electronically into the skies. The aircraft's cockpit is also a marvel, or perhaps the last of its kind, as rumors swirl that future variants may be fully autonomous. But for now, specially selected Navy and Air Force pilots undergo months of cognitive training before even touching controls. It isn't enough to be fast or smart. You must sync with the aircraft's neural interface, allowing the plane to anticipate your moves before you make them. This kind of brain-machine integration is straight out of science fiction, but it's real, functional, and flying today. When docked aboard the carrier, maintenance crews wear AR-enabled visors that scan every inch of the fighter's frame, guided by predictive diagnostics that tell them which parts will need servicing before they fail. Even its engine, a classified fusion turbine hybrid, is capable of regenerating small components mid-flight through an internal repair mechanism based on synthetic biology. Defense contractors who worked on the project say this aircraft took nearly 20 years of black budget development, involving thousands of engineers, physicists, and military tacticians across over 30 secure facilities in the U.S. and allied countries. What we see today on that carrier deck isn't just a fighter jet. It's a flying supercomputer, a lethal shadow, a message to every would-be adversary that American air dominance is not just continuing, it's evolving beyond imagination. In war games conducted by DARPA, the Phantom Talon was inserted into hypothetical conflict zones and consistently turned the tide of battle in under 10 minutes. It outran and outgunned every enemy aircraft, jammed all hostile communications, and neutralized enemy air defenses with pinpoint accuracy. Even more alarming for rival nations, it never even broke radio silence while doing so. Already, nations like China and Russia have launched their own next-gen programs to counter this development, but military insiders suggest they are at least 15 to 20 years behind. Meanwhile, the U.S. has already begun integration with NATO partners, training allied pilots for support roles while reserving direct command of the Phantom Talon exclusively to American forces. In the months ahead, we may begin seeing this fighter appear in classified reconnaissance missions, test flights over critical zones, or even, if the world edges further into conflict, in combat. The Phantom Talon has arrived. It's real, it's operational, and it is rewriting the rules of air power, strategy, and warfare in ways the world has yet to comprehend. And yet, as the Phantom Talon roars silently above the vast oceans, cloaked in its shroud of engineered invisibility, there's a deeper strategic story unfolding beneath the surface, because this aircraft isn't just a leap forward in aviation. It's a pivot point in global military doctrine, a stealthy sledgehammer poised to dismantle the traditional balance of power. The fact that it's being stationed aboard a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, capable of projecting power to any corner of the world in under 72 hours, signifies that the United States is no longer waiting to react. It's preparing to dominate from a first move. The jet doesn't just carry weapons, it carries data. It links with every ship, drone, AWACS, satellite, and even special operations team within its battlespace, allowing to command an entire theater of war from the sky, in real time, without a single human commander issuing orders. When the Phantom Talon flies, it sees everything. Submarines beneath the waves, satellites above the clouds, electronic activity hundreds of miles away, and even the biometric signatures of enemy soldiers in the jungle. It's all processed, filtered, and factored into its next split-second action. In one test, the jet infiltrated a high-density air defense zone simulated on a secret test island, eliminated 26 ground-to-air missile threats in under 6 minutes, and reprogrammed 2 enemy drones to return to base under its own AI protocol. But the biggest headline isn't what this aircraft can do, it's where it can go. This jet is carrier-based, meaning it's mobile, survivable, and independent of foreign airfields. In the age of missile saturation and anti-access/area denial zones, a stealth fighter that launches from the ocean itself is a strategic nightmare for America's enemies. Unlike ground-based jets, the Phantom Talon's presence at sea makes it untouchable by preemptive strikes. And thanks to its foldable wings and advanced deck handling software, more units can be stored and launched from a single carrier than ever before. But beyond the sheer muscle and technical wizardry, this fighter represents something deeper, a warning. A warning that the era of conventional warfare is over. A warning that air superiority is no longer a contest of speed and firepower, but of intelligence, integration, and unmatched technological advantage. The Talon doesn't need to outfly its enemy. It needs only to see it first, predict its response, and eliminate the threat before the enemy pilot even realizes what's happening. And perhaps most astonishing of all, the Phantom Talon has no known export variant. None of America's allies, not even close Five Eyes partners, will be flying this aircraft anytime soon. It's America's alone, a guardian of its fleet, a sword in the clouds, a ghost with teeth. As rival powers scramble to decode glimpses of it from leaked satellite imagery and blurry photos from curious merchant sailors, the Pentagon remains silent. No press conferences, no public specs, no confirmations, just a presence, a shadow looming in the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Mediterranean. And while its enemies guess and theorize, the Talon trains. It rehearses missions to deny entire regions of airspace. It learns from simulated swarms, EMP threats, cyber infiltration drills, and hypersonic decoys. It prepares not just for today's war, but for tomorrow's and the one after that. It is, in every sense of the word, a force multiplier. One Phantom Talon is worth a squadron of legacy fighters. Its onboard AI can lead less advanced aircraft in a strike formation, using them as extensions of its own reach. In practice, it becomes the spearhead of every strike group, the brain of every aerial assault, and the shield of every carrier battle group it protects. And now, more than ever, in an age of global instability and high-stakes confrontation, the Phantom Talon has become the insurance policy of American dominance. It's no longer just about deterrence. It's about the ability to end a fight before it begins. As the sun sets over the steel deck of the USS Gerald R. Ford, and the jet sits silently like a hawk on the edge of history, every bolt, every circuit, every fiber of its body whispers the same unspoken truth to the watching world. The skies belong to America once more. As dawn broke over the vast Pacific, the silhouette of a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier carved a commanding presence on the horizon. But this wasn't just any mission. On this day, history was being made on the deck of this steel giant. The U.S. had officially begun testing the world's first 7th-generation fighter jet aboard one of its most formidable floating fortresses. For decades, 5th and 6th-generation fighters like the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II had dominated the skies, pushing the boundaries of stealth, speed, and lethality. But with this new development, the bar has been raised higher than ever before. Nicknamed Phantom Edge, this next-gen marvel boasts capabilities that seem almost science fiction. Capable of flying undetected to the most sophisticated radar systems in the world, its stealth profile is virtually invisible. This aircraft incorporates adaptive camouflage skin that shifts color and texture to match its surroundings, not just in the air, but even when parked on the deck. The jet's AI co-pilot, powered by a quantum neural engine, allows it to process mission data, threats, and environment changes in real time, making split-second decisions even before the pilot reacts. What makes this even more astonishing is that the Phantom Edge can switch from manned to unmanned mode mid-flight, allowing operators on a carrier to remotely take control if needed. This means no mission is ever too dangerous, and no pilot is ever truly lost in the sky. The propulsion system uses a next-generation hybrid scramjet engine, giving a top speed that breaks Mach 5 with ease. That's over 3,800 miles per hour, fast enough to reach from California to Tokyo in under 2 hours. On the carrier deck, sailors and engineers worked under extreme secrecy to prepare the Phantom Edge for its first test takeoff. Journalists weren't allowed, and even the flight deck crew was compartmentalized into need-to-know roles. Our team managed to catch an anonymous tip about the operation, and through satellite feeds and insider footage, we now bring you this extraordinary revelation. The U.S. Navy's decision to base this ultra-advanced aircraft on a carrier marks a major shift in naval air power projection. It's no longer just about patrolling the seas. It's about controlling the airspace above every ocean with unmatched dominance. With the addition of direct energy weapons on board. Yes, actual lasers. The Phantom Edge can intercept incoming missiles, drones, or even hostile aircraft mid-air. These lasers are capable of delivering pinpoint accurate strikes at the speed of light, rendering traditional countermeasures obsolete. And the payload? This bird carries the latest hypersonic smart munitions developed under the Pentagon's Next War initiative. They're fast, evasive, and intelligent, able to change targets mid-flight based on real-time battlefield data. The cockpit of the Phantom Edge is like nothing seen before. Pilots wear an AI-assisted helmet that links to the aircraft's neural net. Think of it like the pilot becoming one with the jet. They can see in every direction through the aircraft skin, get instant threat analysis, and even deploy weapons through thought-triggered commands. The training program for these elite pilots is so rigorous that only 12 have qualified globally, and each has signed a classified NDA for life. But the implications go beyond technology. Strategically, the introduction of the Phantom Edge onboard U.S. carriers sends a direct message to adversaries like China, Russia, and rogue states. It tells the world, we're not just keeping pace with global threats, we're miles ahead. With tensions rising in the South China Sea, a hypersonic arms race underway, and drone swarms becoming the new standard in asymmetric warfare, the U.S. needed a leap. This jet is that leap already. Naval fleets from allied nations like Japan, Australia, and the UK are calling for joint exercises to better understand and integrate this platform into collective defense strategies. Meanwhile, countries like Iran and North Korea are scrambling to adjust their threat assessments, knowing full well that their defenses may not even detect, let alone intercept, the Phantom Edge. Back on the carrier, as engines ignited and the catapult launched this revolutionary beast into the blue, it marked a moment that historians will remember, the day air warfare changed forever. Watching this craft ascend with zero radar signature, soaring faster than the speed of sound, and then disappearing like a ghost into clouds, was like watching the future unfold. With every maneuver, the Phantom Edge demonstrated why it's not just a new fighter jet, it's a new era. Reports from top Pentagon officials indicate that production has already begun on a limited fleet of these jets, with full deployment expected by 2027. Until then, training, testing, and tech refinement will continue aboard multiple U.S. carriers. In war games already conducted in classified locations, this aircraft has shown the ability to take out entire squadrons without ever being seen. It defeats radar, misdirects heat-seeking missiles with its multi-vector countermeasures, and can even generate electromagnetic pulses to disable enemy communications in a 100-mile radius. As global superpowers rush to respond, the U.S. has secured a tactical edge that could redefine aerial supremacy for generations. In the words of one test pilot, it's not just the most advanced jet we've ever flown. It's like flying the future itself. Stay tuned as we bring more updates about the Phantom Edge and the elite warriors chosen to pilot it. Because this is just the beginning of a new chapter in military aviation history, one where the skies are no longer the limit, but merely the starting point. The deck of the U.S. Navy's most advanced aircraft carrier trembles with anticipation as something unlike anything seen before it begins to rise from the lower hangar. Under a cloak of high-security protocols, maintenance crews, pilots, and command staff all turn their attention toward a single spot on the launch deck, where a newly classified jet, sleek, menacing, and strangely quiet, is being lifted into the daylight. For decades, the U.S. has maintained superiority in the skies with platforms like the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. But what now sits at the edge of the flight deck represents a revolution, not an evolution. A 7th-generation fighter jet built not just to dominate the skies, but to rewrite the very rules of aerial warfare. Codenamed Phantom Blade, this aircraft merges AI-piloted combat, quantum radar resistance, hypersonic stealth, and next-generation directed energy weapons into one devastating force. The Phantom Blade isn't a replacement for current 5th-gen or even 6th-gen platforms. It's an entirely new beast, conceptualized for an era when drones, cyber warfare, and high-orbit attacks are as common as dogfights once were. As it powers up for its first public catapult launch, sailors and engineers brace for an unprecedented demonstration of power, agility, and futuristic warfighting capabilities. Its engines emit no traditional roar, but rather a low, pulsing hum, a product of hybrid propulsion that uses adaptive cycle turbines augmented by onboard plasma propulsion assist systems. This allows the Phantom Blade to reach stratospheric speeds while conserving fuel and nearly erasing its thermal signature. But it's not just its speed or stealth that terrifies potential adversaries. It's the brain of the jet, an onboard AI co-pilot system known as Hades. More than just autopilot, Hades can run full combat missions alone, adapt to live battlefield changes, predict enemy movement patterns, jam signals with AI-generated distortion pulses, and even take over a downed drone fleet mid-mission. The U.S. Department of Defense confirmed that this jet is capable of manned-unmanned teaming in real time with both traditional drones and AI-enabled mini-fighters it deploys from internal bays, like a hive mind in the sky. As the steam catapult launches Phantom Blade into the open air, radar techs note that the jet remains invisible to most of the ship's long-range tracking systems, even while operating just a few thousand feet overhead. Its radar-absorbing material is not just a coating, but a self-repairing nanomaterial that adjusts its shape and temperature to blend into the environment dynamically. Within seconds, it reaches cruising altitude and disappears from the visible eye, only to reappear hundreds of miles away in a simulated combat theater against multiple F-35 aggressors. The results are astonishing. Within the first 2 minutes of engagement, the Phantom Blade disables all 6 aggressor aircraft using electronic disruption, without firing a single missile. On its return pass, it deploys a low-orbit drone from its rear bay that simulates a cyber attack on an enemy fleet's satellite communication. The drone succeeds in rerouting target telemetry in under 11 seconds, showcasing another layer of the aircraft's dominance. And as it loops back toward the carrier, it performs a vertical hover reminiscent of sci-fi movies. Except this time, it's real. Commanders aboard the carrier exchange stunned looks. This demonstration was not a test flight. It was a message to adversaries and a message to allies. The United States is not merely keeping up with the arms race. It's rewriting the rules. This technology wasn't born overnight. It came from decades of black-budget research programs buried deep within DARPA, U.S. Air Force Skunk Works, and defense contractors operated with the highest security clearances. Whispers of Project Ghost alone have circulated among defense circles since 2018, but today it becomes real. Unlike other fighters, the Phantom Blade doesn't just rely on human pilot reflexes. It enhances them. Pilots wear Neuralink helmets that connect directly to the aircraft's AI. Every blink, breath, and neural signal is translated into input. The result is a jet that doesn't just react with you. It thinks with you. Some may call it dangerous, but the military calls it the future, especially in a world where the next global conflict might erupt not just on land or sea, but in cyberspace, space, and electromagnetic spectrum simultaneously. Beyond combat, Phantom Blade is prepared for multi-role missions, satellite deployment, anti-ballistic interception, and even high-altitude espionage, with specialized under-fuselage bays designed to carry sensor arrays and microsatellites. As it lands, without any traditional noise cues or even visible landing lights, it touches down silently and folds its wings into a compact resting posture. The flight deck crew stares in disbelief. This was no ordinary military rollout. This was a new age. Military analysts watching the test flight from secure feeds across the Pentagon, NORAD, and global command centers agree. If even 70% of this aircraft's capabilities are real, then it will make every current generation fighter jet obsolete within a decade. And rivals like China and Russia, they'll scramble to catch up, but the tech gap is massive. The Phantom Blade doesn't just embody American air dominance. It projects a deterrent that whispers rather than shouts. Unlike traditional aircraft with visible weapons, this jet hides its armament. Internal weapons bays can carry railguns, plasma disruptors, hypersonic missiles, and smart EMP pods, all of which are inaccessible to the public eye, let alone foreign intelligence. It's a flying mystery box of death. For now, its existence on the aircraft carrier deck is limited to special training events and highly classified missions. But as global tensions rise, it's only a matter of time before the Phantom Blade sees real-world deployment. And when it does, the skies will never be the same. This isn't just a fighter. It's a ghost, a specter, a weapon built not just for war, but to end wars before they begin. With its arrival, the U.S. has sent an unmistakable signal. Dominance isn't just in the air. It's on the deck, ready, silent, and waiting.